All right, word nerds, you ready to geek out a little?
Always.
Today, we're going deep, deep, deep into the wild world of commonly misused words.
Yeah, these are fun.
It's like, we all use these words every day, right?
Right.
But sometimes even the most experienced writers and speakers can trip over them.
It happens to the best of us.
So today, we're going to unpack the nuances, the little tricks, the things that make these words so darn slippery.
And hopefully save you some embarrassment along the way.
Exactly. You know, like using the wrong word in a big presentation, that's a no-go.
Oh, absolutely.
So think of this deep dive as like a linguistic boot camp for your brain.
Love it.
We're going to make sure you're using these words correctly, confidently, and with style.
Yeah, no more grammar faux pas.
Okay, let's kick things off with a pair that always seems to cause confusion. Affect versus effect.
Ah, yes, the classic duo.
I feel like these two are like the ultimate word pair pranksters.
They really are. They sound so similar, but their meanings, they're totally different.
All right, break it down for us. What's the deal with affect?
So affect, most commonly, is a verb. It's an action word. And it means to influence or to make a change in something.
Okay, so like the weather can affect your mood.
Perfect example. Gloomy day, you feel a bit down. The weather has affected your mood.
Right. Makes sense. So then effect is the outcome, the result.
Exactly. Effect is usually a noun. Think of it as the consequence of something.
Okay, so like the effect of the rain was a flooded garden.
Precisely. The rain caused the flooding. The flooding is the effect.
Got it. But wait, I think I read somewhere that affect can sometimes be a verb too, right?
You're absolutely right. Sharp memory. Affect can be a verb, but it's way less common and much more formal.
Ooh, fancy. So when would you use affect as a verb?
It means like to bring about or to make happen. Like if you're talking about affecting change or affecting a solution.
Ah, I see. It's all about context.
Exactly. And that's what makes these words so tricky, isn't it?
Yeah, the subtle differences. But you know what? I'm kind of starting to enjoy these little word puzzles.
Me too. It's like a brain workout.
Okay, so we've tackled affect versus effect. What's next on our list of linguistic landmines?
How about then and then?
Ah, yes. These two always seem to trip people up, even though the difference seems pretty simple.
You'd think so, right? But you'd be surprised how often they get mixed up.
Okay, so remind us. What's the deal with then?
Then is all about time and sequence. It tells us what happens next in a series of events.
Okay, so like I woke up, then I had breakfast. Right.
Perfect. Then is our time traveler. It guides us through the order of things.
Okay, then for time. So then is for comparison.
You got it. Then helps us weigh things against each other, make choices, express preferences.
So this coffee is stronger than the tea.
Yes. Then is our comparison champion.
I'm starting to feel more confident already. What other word pairs are lurking out there waiting to trip us up?
Well, how about it's versus its?
Ooh, the apostrophe attack.
I know, right? This one is all about understanding possessive pronouns and contractions.
Okay, so it's with no apostrophe shows possession, like his or hers.
Exactly. The cat chased its tail. No apostrophe needed there.
But it's, with the apostrophe is short for it is or it has.
You got it. It's a contraction, a shortened form. Like it's a beautiful day. Apostrophe day.
Okay, I think I'm getting this. So it's is possessive, no apostrophe, and it's is a contraction with the apostrophe.
You got it. And here's a little trick to help you remember.
Lay it on me.
If you can replace it's in a sentence with it is or it has, and it still makes sense, then you're using it correctly.
That's helpful. So if I can say it is a beautiful day, then I know to use it's with the apostrophe.
Exactly.
Awesome. I feel like I'm leveling up my grammar skills already.
Well, you are. Keep it up.
All right, what's next on our word pair hit list?
How about a pair that's often confused, especially in written form? Lose versus loose.
Oh, yeah. These two can be sneaky. They sound almost identical.
But remember, spelling matters.
All right, help me out here. Which one is about misplacing something?
Lose is one about misplacing, not winning, or being deprived of something.
Okay, so you lose your keys or you lose a game.
Exactly.
So then loose must be the one that means not tight.
You got it.
Yeah.
Loose is an adjective. It describes something that isn't fastened or is free from restraint.
Like, my shoelaces are loose, or that dog is running loose.
Perfect examples.
Okay. Lose for losing something and loose for not tight. I think I can finally keep those straight.
I think you got it. Just remember, 1 OO means you lost something, 2 O's means something is free.
Oh, I like that. I'm going to remember that. Okay, I'm ready for the next word pair challenge.
All right, let's dive into fewer versus less.
Ooh, these two. I always get them mixed up.
It's a common mistake, but the rule is pretty simple.
All right, tell me, what's the trick to remembering which is which?
Think about whether you can count the things you're talking about. If you can count them individually, use fewer.
Okay, so like fewer apples or fewer students?
Exactly. You can count apples and students one by one.
And then less is for things you can't count individually.
Precisely. Less water, less time, less sand.
Got it. So fewer for things you can count, less for things you can't.
You're natural.
I'm starting to feel like a word wizard. What other word pairs are waiting to be demystified?
Well, get ready for this one because it's a doozy. Lie versus lay.
Oh, here we go. I know there's a difference, but I can never remember which is which.
This one has been tripping people up for centuries.
Okay, break it down for me. Which one is about resting?
Lie, with no object, is about reclining or resting. Like, I need to lie down.
Okay, and lay needs an object.
Right. Lay means to put or place something. So, lay the book on the table.
Oh, okay. So I lie down on the couch, but I lay the book down on the table.
You got it. Think of it this way. Chickens lay eggs. They're placing something down.
The classic chicken and egg example. That helps. Okay, I think I'm starting to get the hang of this. Lie for resting, lay for placing something.
You're on a roll.
All right, hit me with one more before we wrap up this part of our deep dive.
Okay, how about farther versus further?
Ooh, yeah, I've definitely used these interchangeably before. But I know there's a subtle difference, right?
There is. Think about it this way. Farther is for physical distance, something you can measure.
Okay, so like I ran farther than you, or the store is farther down the road.
Exactly. Further, on the other hand, is more about figurative distance or a greater degree or extent.
So we need to discuss this further, or I want to further my education.
Precisely.
Okay, so farther for physical distance, further for figurative distance.
You've got it. You're a word pair master.
Wow, my brain is definitely getting a workout today.
That's what we like to hear. Stay tuned because we've got a whole lot more word pair fun coming your way. All right, welcome back to our word pair extravaganza.
I'm ready for round two. What tricky duos are we tackling today?
Well, let's start with a pair that often causes confusion, especially when you're trying to express admiration. Compliment versus compliment.
Oh, yes. These two sound so similar, but I know their meanings are totally different. I've definitely seen them misused before.
It happens. Compliment is all about praise, saying something nice.
So if I tell you I love your insights on word pairs, that's a compliment.
It certainly is, and a very kind one at that.
Thanks. Now, what about compliment? How is that different?
Compliment is more about enhancing or completing something. Think of things that go well together.
Okay, so like that scarf complements your outfit, or the wine complements the cheese.
Perfect examples. Compliment is all about creating a sense of harmony or completeness.
Got it. Compliments boost our egos, and compliments enhance our style, or our cheese boards.
Exactly. What do you say we move on to another tricky pair?
Hit me with it.
How about everyday versus everyday?
Ooh, the sneaky space.
This one's all about knowing the difference between an adjective and an adverbial phrase.
Okay, remind me, what's an adjective again?
An adjective describes something like everyday clothes, meaning ordinary or routine clothes.
Right. And an adverbial phrase tells us when or how often something happens.
Exactly. Every day means each day, without exception, like I drink coffee every day.
Okay, I think I'm starting to see the difference. So every day is an adjective describing something ordinary, and every day is an adverbial phrase meaning each day.
You've got it.
Oh.
And believe me, using the right one makes a big difference in your writing.
Noted. I'll definitely be watching out for that one from now on. What's next?
Let's tackle bring versus take.
Oh, this one always makes me think of those awkward party situations. When someone asks you to bring something and you're not sure if you should take it home with you later.
I think we've all been there. Bring is all about movement towards a specific location or towards the speaker. So if you're hosting a party, you'd ask guests to bring a dish.
Right, bring it to the party where I am.
Exactly. And take implies movement away from the speaker or location. So after the party, they would take their leftovers home.
Bring it towards you. Take it away.
Got it in one. Now, how about we test your memory on a word pair we talked about earlier? Do you remember the difference between principal and principal?
Oh, I think I do. Principal is like the head honcho of a school, right?
You got it. And principle is a fundamental truth or belief.
So a principle could have strong principles.
Nicely put. It seems like you're really mastering these word pairs. Ready for another one?
Absolutely. Bring it on.
Okay, how about stationary versus stationary?
Ooh, I always think of office supplies with this one.
Good association. Stationary is all about writing materials like paper, envelopes, pens, that kind of stuff.
So when something is stationary, it means it's not moving.
Precisely. Think stationary bike. It stays in one place.
Okay, got it. I'll remember to stock up on stationery before my next stationary bike session.
Perfect. I think you're ready for a real grammar challenge now.
Ooh, bring on the big guns.
Okay, how about who versus whom?
Uh-oh, I can already feel my brain sweating.
Don't worry, it's not as scary as it seems. Who is used when you're referring to the subject of a sentence, the person performing the action?
Okay, like who ate the last cookie? Who is the cookie monster in this case?
Exactly. Now, whom is used when referring to the object of a sentence, the person receiving the action.
So, to whom did you give the cookie?
Yes. Whom is receiving the cookie?
All right, I think I'm starting to get it. Who does the action? Whom receives the action?
You got it. And here's a helpful tip. If you can replace the word with he or she, use who. If you could replace it with him or her, use whom.
That's a great trick. I'll definitely remember that. Okay, what other word pairs are we going to conquer today?
Let's talk about emigrate versus immigrate.
Ooh, these two always sound so similar to me.
They do. Think of it this way. Emigrate is about leaving a country. E for exit.
Okay, emigrate is to exit a country.
When immigrate is to come into a country.
Ah, I see. M for into.
Exactly. So someone might emigrate from one country and immigrate to another.
Okay, I think I can remember that. Emigrate to leave. Immigrate to come in.
You're getting the hang of this. Ready for another one?
Bring it on.
Okay, let's tackle a pair that sounds almost identical, but has totally different meanings. Illicit versus illicit.
Ooh, I've definitely mixed these up before.
It's a common mistake. Illicit means illegal or forbidden. Think illicit activities.
Okay, illicit is bad news.
Right. And illicit means to draw out or evoke something.
So like the comedian's jokes elicited laughter from the audience.
Exactly. Illicit brings something out, while illicit is something that's hidden or prohibited.
Okay, I'm starting to see the difference. Illicit is good, illicit is bad.
You got it. What do you say we move on to a pair that's a bit more lighthearted?
I'm all for that.
Okay, how about desert versus dessert?
Ooh, this one makes me hungry.
Me too. But first, let's clear up the confusion. Desert is that dry, barren landscape.
Right, think camels and sand dunes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And dessert is that sweet treat you enjoy after a meal.
Okay, so desert is a place, and dessert is something you eat.
Precisely. And here's a little trick to remember the difference. Dessert has two S's, because you always want seconds.
That's a good one. I'll definitely remember that. Okay, what's next on our word pair menu?
How about we explore the difference between imply versus infer?
Ooh, these two are tricky. I always get them mixed up.
It's common confusion. Imply is what the speaker does. They suggest something indirectly or hint at something.
Okay, so like if I say, it's getting late with a big yawn, I'm implying that it's time for you to go.
Exactly. You're not directly saying it, but you're definitely hinting at it.
Subtle communication. And to infer is what the listener does.
Precisely. So in your example, I would infer from your yawn and your comment that it's time for me to head home.
The speaker implies and the listener infers. It's like a linguistic dance.
I like that. It's all about reading between the lines and understanding the subtle cues in communication.
This is fascinating. Okay, what's next on our word pair adventure?
How about historic versus historical?
Ooh, this one makes me think of history class. But I always get these two confused.
It's a common mistake. Think of historic as referring to something important or momentous in history, something that really made a mark.
Okay, so a historic event is a big deal, like a turning point in history.
Exactly. And historical simply means related to history or the past.
So a historical document could be anything from a peace treaty to a grocery list.
Exactly. Historical is more general. It just means something that happened in the past.
Got it. Historic is significant. Historical is from the past. Okay, hit me with another word pair challenge.
All right, how about insure versus insure?
Ooh, I always think of insurance policies with these two.
That's a good connection. Insure is all about protecting against financial loss, like you insure your car or your house.
Okay, and insure means to make sure something will happen.
Precisely. You might ensure that the door is locked before you leave, or ensure that you have all the necessary documents for a meeting.
So insure is for financial protection, and insure is about guaranteeing something will happen.
You got it. What do you say we wrap up this part of our word pair exploration with one last challenge?
I'm game. Let's do it.
Okay, how about disinterested versus uninterested?
Ooh, I have a feeling I've been using these incorrectly.
A lot of people do. Disinterested means impartial or unbiased.
Okay, so a judge should be disinterested in a case, meaning they have no personal stake in the outcome.
Exactly. Now, uninterested simply means not interested or bored.
Ah, so I might be uninterested in watching a boring documentary.
Precisely. So disinterested is about neutrality, while uninterested is about lack of interest.
Got it. I'll definitely be more careful with those two from now on.
I'm impressed with your progress. You've really mastered a lot of these tricky word pairs.
Thanks. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm definitely feeling more confident about my language skills. All right, One Warriors, we're back for the final round of our deep dive into commonly misused words.
Are you ready to conquer some more tricky pairs?
Bring it on! My brain is warmed up and ready for the challenge.
Excellent. Let's jump right in with a pair that often causes confusion when it comes to giving and receiving guidance. Advice versus advice.
Ah, yes, the age-old dilemma of seeking wisdom versus offering it.
Precisely. Advice, with a C, is a noun. It's the guidance or recommendation offered to someone.
So, I need some advice on how to handle this tricky situation at work.
Perfect example. You're seeking guidance, so you need advice.
And advise, with an S, is the verb, the act of giving that guidance.
Exactly. You might say, my mentor advised me to take a deep breath and approach the problem calmly.
Okay, so advice is what we receive, and advise is what we give.
You've got it. Remember, advice is something you can take, while advise is something you do.
Got it. I'll try to keep those straight. What's next on our word pair battleground?
How about a pair that often causes confusion when it comes to locations of power and financial resources? Capital versus capital.
Ooh, this one makes me think of grand buildings and important decisions.
You're on the right track. Capital, with an al, has several meanings. It can refer to a city that serves as the seat of government.
Like Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States.
Exactly. Capital can also refer to wealth in the form of money or assets.
Like, I need more capital to start my own business.
Precisely. And capital can even refer to an uppercase letter.
Ah, so many meanings for one little word. Now, what about capital with an ol?
Capital with an ol refers specifically to a building where a legislature meets.
Like the United States Capitol building where Congress makes laws.
Exactly. So remember, capital is more general, while capital refers specifically to a government building.
Okay, I'll try to keep those grand buildings straight. What's next on our list of tricky duos?
How about a pair that's all about being together or being complete? All together versus all together.
Ooh, this one always makes me think of group hugs and finishing a big project.
I love those images. All together, as two words, means in a group or collectively.
So let's sing happy birthday all together.
Perfect. You're all singing as one group.
And all together as one word means completely or entirely.
Exactly. Like, I'm altogether exhausted after that word pair marathon.
I can relate to that. So all together means in a group, and all together means completely. Got it.
You're a word pair whiz.
Yeah.
What do you say we tackle one more tricky pair before we wrap up our deep dive?
Absolutely. I'm feeling unstoppable.
Okay, how about a pair that's all about giving reassurance and making things certain? Ashore versus inshore.
Ooh, these two sound very similar, but I know they have distinct meanings.
They do. Ashore, with an S, means to make someone feel confident or certain about something.
So I assure you that everything will be fine.
Exactly. You're easing their worries and giving them confidence.
And ensure with an N means to make certain that something will happen.
Precisely. You might say, please ensure that you lock the door before you leave.
Ah, so assure is about giving someone confidence, and ensure is about making something certain to happen.
You've got it. Assure calms the mind, while ensure guarantees an outcome.
I love how these subtle distinctions can make such a big difference in our communication.
It's amazing, isn't it, the power of words?
This deep dive has been an incredible journey. We've explored so many tricky word pairs, uncovered hidden meanings, and sharpened our language skills along the way.
It's been a pleasure sharing these linguistic adventures with you.
I'm feeling so much more confident about my word choices now.
That's what we love to hear. And remember, language is constantly evolving, so the journey of learning never really ends.
Absolutely. So to all you fellow word nerds out there, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep playing with the amazing power of words. Until next time, happy wordsmithing!